Anya asked about the systemic, we have to look at this systemically, which I think is such a critical approach. And in your response, you brought to mind this, our international framework for recognition of rights, which is civil and political and economic, social, and cultural rights. And I'm saying that in countries across the globe, just as in India, there is a different approach to civil and political and economic and social and cultural rights. And you are saying that COVID and what is happening now is showing us how inextricably intertwined they are. So I am asking, is this therefore now an opportunity? Because in the GCPR project and at Future Law, we are so inspired by so many of the thinkers around history and trends. And Yuval Harari has really made the case for how this is an opportunity for us to reset, but it can go either way. And you have been pointing to that. It can go either way. So I'm saying the point that you raised about the intersectionality of these civil, political, and economic, social, and cultural rights, can we, as a collaborative of lawyers working worldwide, with the support of the UN and that framework, start to really create a stronger lobby for governments worldwide now to recognize this interconnection and to pass the laws in their countries that will recognize the primacy as well of economic, social, and cultural rights? Do you think we can get together and do something like that?
Yes, I think that the way we take positions on this is going to be very important, that we don't fragment our, demands, our claims, that we don't, compartmentalize ourselves, that we don't think through fragments, of health rights separately, livelihood separately, income security separately, or for food security separately, or, police and police violence, state terrorism. I think that we should be, and also, in the basis of that is how we document. So, and I think as lawyers, we are trained now, so people on the ground, the civil society groups are already doing it, but they don't have the lens of, the economic, social, political, that they are intertwined. They don't think, we have the training to, label them and also call out the fallacy in that label. So how do you label dignity? So today, when the migrant labor is being attacked on the road by the police, or is being stigmatized, or is being, so I don't know if you saw, there was a whole group of migrant workers who were walking, like they walked hundreds of kilometers, and you saw those images, but they were at some place, some smart, administrators sprayed them with insecticides. Or disinfectant. They were sprayed. They were just made to huddle together. It was heart-wrenching. I mean, I could have died. It was just. I just didn't sleep that night. And so, incidentally, Sandeep told about a story. I have a personal story. The day the nationwide lockdown was being announced, I was on the road because I live in Delhi, and I have a sister who lives just in a sister town, city adjacent to Delhi, which is Noida, which is in another state. Delhi is a state and capital city. And then there are three states that border Delhi. And my sister lives in one of those cities. And my father lives with her. And he was taken critically ill, And he was very, very sick. And the message I got was that just come because he's not going to live. And I was, and I have contacts with police, senior police officers, lawyers, doctors, and I was calling everyone, as I just drove, asking them, tell me the protocol, tell me how does one do this in a legal way that I'm not defying it. I don't want to be violating laws, but I don't want to be stopped from seeing my father if he's going to. He finally had to be hospitalized. One hospital turned him away. They said, we are not taking any admissions. Then we took him to another, and of course we used our contacts, and then finally we got him in a hospital where we knew the owners. All this while my sister's building was being sealed because somebody who was tested positive was in that building.
Oh my God.
I wrote about this on my Facebook, that I could manage to, muscle my way through all that. I was dealing with Delhi police, I was dealing with Uttar Pradesh police, I was dealing with, all kinds of situations, the hospital authorities, the doctors, the nurses, and people like us who can speak English, who are visibly educated from a certain class. We are very, very privileged. I still was feeling extremely vulnerable. It was just my power that I pushed my way, muscled my way. But someone else, all that while, I just kept thinking, what would have happened for
the average person? Yeah.
How would they? And that is exactly so dignity, security, all of these are. And I think it is a very opportune moment for us to imagine how to make our how to call out violations where we don't fragment, and how to ask for our rights where we don't fragment.
But I think part of the answer to Shruti could be, and I share this deep connection with the suffering of people on the ground, people who don't have the access to the privilege that we have. But could part of the answer be forming alliances across borders? Because if we submit ourselves only to the sovereignty within our nation state, that political will, that power structure keeps us there. But what is the role of the UN in this? The UN needs to step up on this with all of the rights, and perhaps the UN can support coalitions of professionals in all the different sectors all over the world, and the UN can give us a support to leapfrog sometimes and to gain more power vis-a-vis our national representatives and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.